This is my second tutorial in the series of tutorials I'm doing on how to conjugate regular verbs in French. And in this tutorial, I'm going to concentrate on regular ER verbs. In my previous tutorial, I talked about the verbs avoir and être, auxiliary verbs in French, which we use to conjugate all the others. And so you'll see how these are now used to conjugate regular ER verbs. So regular ER verbs are verbs that end in ER and are conjugated according to a certain pattern. And I'm going to explain this pattern now. Okay, so in the present tense, we basically take the stem of the verb, which is the verb without the ER on the end. So in this case, we're talking about parler, which is the verb to talk. And so to get the stem, we take the ER off. And we get this, P-A-R-L. And then we add, in the present tense, we add these endings, E, E-S, E, O-N-S, E-Z, E-N-T. So for the verb parler, it becomes then je parle, tu parles, il parle, nous parlons, vous parlez, il parle. And if you were listening really closely, I said the same thing for this word, this word, this word, and this word. Parle. Okay, let's look at the present perfect. The present perfect is formed either by taking the present tense of avoir or the present tense of être and then adding a past participle. Now, if we're talking about parler, parler is a verb that's conjugated with avoir. So in this case, we're taking the present tense of avoir, j'ai, tu as, il a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont, and then we're adding the past participle of the verb. And we form this by taking the stem, so the verb without the ER on the end, and adding E acute accent. So the present perfect is then, therefore, for this verb, j'ai parlé, tu as parlé, il a parlé, nous avons parlé, vous avez parlé, ils ont parlé. Okay, let's look at the imperfect. The imperfect is formed by taking the stem, so the verb without the ER on the end, and adding the imperfect endings, which are AIS, AIS, AIT, IONS, IEZ, AIENT. So for the verb parler, it becomes then je parlais, tu parlais, il parlait, nous parlions, vous parliez, il parlait. So again, this word, this word, this word, and this word are all pronounced the same, parler. In the pluperfect, this verb is formed by taking the imperfect of avoir. I'm going to explain in another tutorial when we use être, but in most cases it's avoir, and then we add a past participle. Now I'll explain how we pronounce this. It's j'avais parlé, tu avais parlé, il avait parlé, nous avions parlé, vous aviez parlé, ils avaient parlé. The future is formed by taking the infinitive of basically the verb that you find. So it was parler, that's the infinitive, and then adding the future tense endings. So AI, AS, AONS, EZ, ONT. And these endings look very similar to the present tense of avoir, as you can see here. Okay. So we take the infinitive and we add the future tense endings. So it becomes je parlerai, tu parleras, il parlera, nous parlerons, vous parlerez, ils parleront. In fact, this word and this word are both pronounced the same. You don't actually say the S or the T at the end of the word. Okay. Now, the future perfect is formed by taking the future of avoir or être, in this case avoir, and then adding the past participle. So we've got j'aurais parlé, tu auras parlé, il aura parlé, nous aurons parlé, vous aurez parlé, ils auront parlé. And of course this word and this word are pronounced the same, auront. The conditional present is formed by taking the infinitive and adding the conditional ending. So we've got the verb parler, which is basically just the form that you'll find in the dictionary, and then we add the imperfect endings, AIS, AIS, AIT, exactly the same ones as you see here. Okay, so it's je parlerai, tu parlerais, il parlerait, nous parlerions, vous parleriez, il parlerait. And of course this word, this word, this word, and this word are all pronounced the same. The conditional past is formed by taking the conditional present of avoir or être, in this case avoir, and adding the past participle. So it would be j'aurais parlé, tu aurais parlé, il aurait parlé, nous aurions parlé, vous auriez parlé, ils auraient parlé. Okay, so the subjunctive is formed by taking the third person plural in the present tense, taking the ent off the end, and then adding these endings, eese, and then for the third person plural, ent. So okay, let's have a look at the third person plural in the present tense. Third person plural in the present tense is this one here. So we take the ent off, and and then we add these endings, which are basically the present tense endings. So in fact, the present subjunctive for these persons, the first person singular, second person singular, third person singular, and third person singular, are the same as the present tense. It's only when we look at nous and vous that we basically take these from the imperfect. So yeah, it's parlions and parliez. So it's que je parle, que tu parles, qu'il parle, que nous parlions, que vous parliez. So these two words and these two words are pronounced exactly the same. And this, so qu'il parle, and then parle, and parle. Okay. The subjunctive past is formed by taking the present subjunctive of avoir. In this case, it could be être, but it's avoir in this case. And then we add the past participle. So it's que j'ai parlé, que tu aies parlé, qu'il ait parlé, que nous ayons parlé, que vous ayez parlé, qu'ils aient parlé. The imperative. First person singular is parle, and it comes from the, it's formed from the first person singular in the present tense. So we take this, and that is the second person singular of the imperative. So you want to give you an order, one person an order in an informal setting. You say parle, and this is how you'd write it. This is, we want to give ourselves an order. Let's talk, parlons. And if you're talking to someone in a more formal setting or several people, you would then say parler, talk. Okay, so it's parle, parlons, parler. And these are the same as in the present tense. Nous form and vous form. Okay. The present participle is the stem, so the verb without the er on the end, and plus ant. So in this case it's parlons. And as I've already explained, we form the past participle by taking the er off the end, so we get the stem, and then adding e acute accent. So in this case, if we want to make it feminine, we add e. There's a couple more comments I want to make. If we look at the verb créer, which is a regular er verb, you'll notice here that we have kind of like double e's in places. Don't be alarmed by this. This is absolutely totally right. So j'ai créé has got double e with accents on it. The verbs that end in IER, these ones as you can see here, apprécier, étudier, remercier, crier, plier, appreciate, study, thank, shout, and fold. They have in the imperfect, don't be alarmed by this, they have a double I here, and so they're actually conjugated. These are regular verbs, so you just, in the imperfect, simply double the I. It looks a bit strange, but that's what you do. That's it. That's all I wanted to mention. So you can come to my website if you like and do some exercises. I've put a link below so that you can do so. You can also download this document that I've just commented from Google Docs. I've put it on there, and I've put the link at the bottom of this tutorial as well. You'll see on the description of the video the 2 links. Okay, please come along to my website.